The OCD and Anxiety Podcast by Robert James Coaching. Hello and welcome to the OCD and Anxiety Podcast, where we explore how to have a more positive relationship with anxiety disorders, taking back control so that you can start living the life you choose and not the one chosen by your fears. Hello and welcome to episode 341. I hope that wherever you are today, you are doing marvelously well. However, if you are struggling with OCD or anxiety, you can get a free session with me. To get that, you can head over to my website, robertjamescoaching.com. And there you can book in for that free session directly, or if you prefer, you can send me a message and let me know about what you're struggling with. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about a question that often comes up in my coaching. And that is, because I've had OCD for a long time, maybe you've had it for a few months or a few years or maybe for decades. Many people feel like they are, because they've had it for that long, that they're kind of stuck with it. And this is a really big misconception. I just don't think it's true at all. So we're going to be talking about that. If you have any questions at all about anything that we speak about, do please let me know. And if you would like to support the podcast in some small way, there is now Patreon. You can sign up for different tiers. There's a link in the show notes. Also, it would be great if you could follow and like on Instagram. My Instagram handle is at Robert James Coaching UK. So many thanks, guys, and off we go. I wanted to start today with a quote by Shannon L. Elder. Fear is the glue that keeps you stuck. Faith is the solvent that sets you free. We are set in our ways, bound by our perspectives and stuck in our thinking. And this is a really great quote, I think, and it's very apt for today because so much of the time with OCD, our thinking, our perspective about things is the thing that is keeping us stuck. And one of those kind of stories, one of those narratives that we, many people with OCD tend to tell themselves is that, because they've been experiencing it for so long, they've been doing this thing for many years or many months, and they've created neuroplasticity in a negative way in their minds, and they're more and more stuck with their thoughts and with the OCD. And in my experience, this simply is not the case. This is just another story that we're telling ourselves. We're trying to convince ourselves that we're stuck, that we're trapped with OCD, and that because we've had it for so long that we can't find a way out of that trap. I'm evidence that you can, because I really, for many years felt like that too. I really thought I was stuck, and lo and behold, here I am today, so happy so much of the time, so content in my life, and so much better able to deal with anything that comes up in relation to OCD. I'm able to manage it really well, and it doesn't really come up very much at all and bother me. And a big part of that is to do with it's really to do with having faith, as she talks about. Faith is the solvent that sets you free. And when we believe that OCD is this thing that's got us stuck in this trap, that, because we've been thinking about it for so long, or we've been doing it for so long, we can't ever quite break free of it. That's the opposite of faith, actually. Of course, it's getting lost in that fear. And when we get lost in that fear, when our perspective is one of negativity, and when our opinion is really kind of going round in circles with too much thinking, too much ruminating, we're trying to get rid of that fear all the time. Really, what we're doing here is we're making this idea of, am I always going to be stuck with OCD because I've been thinking about it for so long? We're making a kind of obsession about the question in itself. Really, that question just becomes another part of the OCD. And this is one of the amazing marvels of OCD. It has this incredible ability, to use our own creativity against us, to ensnare it in its ingenious traps. And this is just another one of those traps. It's using this horrible idea of, oh no, I've had this for so long that I'm never going to quite break free of it. It's using that to kind of make you ruminate on that and to kind of stay stuck with the OCD. In my experience, actually getting over OCD, it does involve what she talks about here. Faith is the solvent that sets you free. It does involve that leap of faith. We have to recognize the fact that, it's difficult to change your perspective at first. If you've been stuck thinking in a certain kind of way for a long time, at first that can be a little bit challenging to change that. But it really is just a little bit challenging. It's far from being impossible. It's far from being something that you can't do. We know that, many people every day are learning how to manage OCD more effectively. There's the evidence there, the research that backs that up with things like acceptance commitment therapy and ERP, which are shown to be very effective and very helpful with OCD. It doesn't matter how long you might have been stuck with it, you can actually rewire your brain in a positive way, not the negative way, and actually, change and have a different perspective on things and realize that you're not stuck. But in a way, one of the first steps is really trying to acknowledge to yourself that you've got to step out in a little bit of faith, a little bit of, okay, I know this is really difficult. I know it's been really hard for however long that you've been struggling with it. But to actually believe to yourself, it's possible that if I really do commit to taking small action each day, that things can change. And really, it's that. I mean, when I say faith, I'm not talking about a religious faith. I'm not talking about, having a super strong belief in it. Obviously, that would be helpful. If you have a super strong belief that you're going to get better, fantastic, because that's going to help you all the way, every day. But I'm not talking about that, because for most people, that's actually quite hard when it comes to OCD, because we know what it's like. It's quite sticky and difficult to get rid of. It's like a chewing gum that you might find underneath the school desk that's been there for many, many years. When you unfortunately find it, you're like, oh, God, that's disgusting, horrible. OCD is a little bit like that. It's very sticky. It's hard to get off. And it may stay there for years if we don't actually start doing the right things. But as soon as we do start doing the right things, well, actually, there's every chance that things can turn around and, relatively quickly if we consistently take that action. And that faith that I was talking about, well, actually, it can just be a little glimmer of hope to start with, where you suspend judgment for a few weeks or a month or so. And you say, you know what? Rather than always getting caught up in this negative narrative that I'm telling myself about the OCD, I'm going to suspend judgment on that for, as best I can, because that you won't be perfect at doing that. We want to bring perfectionism into OCD so much of the time, and it doesn't really help. So we try our best to acknowledge, that really OCD is a difficult thing, but we're going to do our best to suspend that judgment and to try to open up to the possibility that maybe if we do apply these things, it really can improve. And there's all the evidence, all of the science there does back that up. But it does take that kind of, having that little bit of hope. If we stay caught up in the negativity of OCD, and really lost in that story that my OCD is different, or I can't quite do it because of all of these difficult things that I have personally about my OCD, or this particular type of OCD. This is a really common one, and I did this myself. My particular type of OCD is too hard to overcome. It can't be done. It's too difficult. And again, that's the kind of mindset and narrative that unfortunately will keep you stuck, because it's not opening up to, as I said earlier, not even faith. It's just having a little bit of hope and focusing on that hope rather than focusing on that negativity that tends to keep us, really, really stuck. So, overall, that is my opinion. You are not stuck. It doesn't matter how long you might have been doing OCD. We have neuroplasticity. We can rewire our brains in a positive way. And, you're not stuck. You really can change. It all starts with having a little bit more faith, a bit more hope, and, taking that daily action, ideally working with somebody to help you to deal with the OCD. And things really can change. So there we go, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed that one. If you have any questions at all, do please let me know, and I will see you next time. Just a quick reminder that if you want to get a free session, all you need to do to get that is to head over to my website, www.robertjamescoaching.com, and there you can leave me a message and we can arrange the free session. And now just a quick reminder of my disclaimer. Any information that you view on my website, Instagram page, Facebook group, or anywhere else online, or any information that you listen to on the podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for actual medical or mental health advice from a doctor, psychologist, or any other medical or mental health professional.